Well, it's been a little while since we had a fish video here. I just got some fish in here from my friends at Global Fish up in New Jersey. So this right here is a hybrid catfish. So I like to collect all these different type of hybrid catfish. Tiger shovelnose hybrid, red-tailed cat hybrid, marble acara hybrid, and all different other species of tiger shovelnose hybrids. And I would like to have a whole collection of them someday with all these different spots and stripes and everything in between. So the next fish is an albino pacu. I know he's about 8 inches. So someday I'd like to have this pond, unfortunately without water lilies, and have in it a whole bunch of albino pacu. Get them about 2 feet long. They'll be the equivalent of the South American goldfish. Okay, so the next thing I have here is I have a half dozen clown loaches. I guess I got 5 clown loaches. I've always wanted some clown loaches. They're super cool looking. You know, I'm really into these monster predatory catfish, but I really love all fish. And what is better than a school of clown loaches? Almost nothing. I had this opportunity to buy 5 of them here, and this is, but someday I'd like to have 20 or 30 of them. Just like a big 1,000-gallon tank with nothing but clown loaches. So for right now, we've got these Tractor Supply tubs. So everything's going in a Tractor Supply tub for right now. So in this, as I bought this as a 110-gallon tub, it's going to get these 5 clown loaches. The next fish we have here, these are albino chili Oscars. Over here. Oh, those are beautiful Oscars. You know, I love cichlids too, including all the different color morphs of Oscars. This one here is a really bright red hybrid, and I think they look really cool. I'm glad I purchased them. So these last 2 fish I got, they're albino sharks. They're not iridescent sharks, but that's a Paengus, the shell-loving shark, the Cochophilus. I have a great big blue one, but this is a variegated version of that. So I wanted to show you all these fish swimming around in a 300-gallon tank. However, we had some technical problems with the aquarium, so everything is going into these Tractor Supply black tubs for now, and we have to transfer everything over to the 300-gallon tank after we fix the technical difficulties. It's a little skit. What? Get over there. So it's a little. When I first opened it up, man, he was bellied up. I have a blue one that I had an earlier video, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I had the opportunity here to get a variegated one, 2 variegated ones actually. I picked them up as well, and I'm gonna show them off in a tank with a black bottom. These are a little sleeker and faster than iridescent sharks. It's really gonna, I think I may keep them in this black tub. They'll show up nice. Well, after we acclimate these fish, I'm gonna run over to my friends at Wild Florida. I'm gonna look at a couple of snakes, and then I am gonna do something a little bit different. I am gonna go to Discovery Cove with my wife and my parents, and I'm gonna look at some plants and feed some birds.
And today we have the Texas indigo snake. Now this is a species of very large colubrid or large slender-bodied non-venomous snake found here in North America. The Texas indigo, as you can guess by the name, they're found in the state of Texas, particularly in the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas. This is a young adult that you see in front of you. This animal can reach lengths of about 6.5, maybe 7 feet at best. Indigo snakes are opportunistic feeders as a whole, meaning that they are not picky about their diet. So indigo snakes like this Texas indigo in front of you, they do eat your standard rats and mice, but they also love to eat birds. They'll eat the birds' eggs, they'll eat the fledglings or the hatchling birds. They also love to eat frogs, lizards, they'll even eat baby alligators, turtles, tortoises, literally anything they can fit in those jaws that you see on them.
Do you feed it rats and quails?
We do rats, quails, and day-old chicks here. So we do supplement with a varied diet so to make sure they're not getting, you know, something too fatty like a rat. Rats are high in fat.
I spent some time in Brownsville, Texas.
Yes.
And they're hard. I couldn't catch one. They're almost like a black racer or something.
Yeah,
these are so. He's so chilled. He's almost like a pine snake.
Yeah. Yeah, indigos are very fast moving, and of course, you know, being down there in Brownsville, right on the Mexican border, they are doing pretty well population-wise, but evidently they're a much larger body snake than any of our North American racer species, but having that darker coloration, they heat up really fast, so they can get really good bursts of energy and move very promptly when they want to avoid a potential, what they perceive us as a predation attempt.
We are here today at Wild, Florida. I'm with my friend Tom Holt, all right, and we've got one of the coolest native snakes to Florida that we're sharing with you today, the canebrake rattlesnake, also known as a timber rattlesnake, depending on what locality you're in. But yeah, this is an awesome rattlesnake. This is actually an adult female, so they don't get as big as the also native eastern diamondback rattlesnake, but still they're individuals that are gonna get 5 to 6 feet long, you know, at the largest examples of them. This is a mature adult female. But she still has plenty of room to grow. So you can see the beautiful coloration on the snake. They have that chevron pattern going down their body, and they also have that orange dorsal stripe. And in their native range, that's gonna help them blend in perfectly to the habitat. So look at all the cypress needle and the foliage around us. If this snake was coiled up in ambush, it would be very hard to spot this animal. And they're gonna prey primarily on birds and small rodents, so things like squirrels, mice, rats, and occasionally, yeah, birds. So they are great pest control when it comes to the rodents to have around, but these snakes tend to be a lot more shy about rattling than the eastern diamondback and the pygmy rattlesnake. But there's really not too many issues with people getting bit by them. Often if that does happen, it's because somebody's trying to kill the snake.
All right, everybody. So the next animal that we get to hang out for a few minutes is the rough-scaled death adder. Now, this animal was found in the top end of Australia in the Cape York Peninsula. This particular locality is from Dajara, Queensland. So this comes from the northeast corner of the Australian outback. And what's really cool about these guys is they have the fastest strike out of any snake species on Earth, the family of the death adders. Those guys can strike as fast as 0.2 of a second. So now Andrew is showcasing a mouse, and immediately this animal, just like that, faster than you can possibly blink, record no matter what. And you'll notice that also his head is twitching and vibrating a little bit. So what you're seeing right there is he is pumping that mouse, although he does think it's probably alive, that's why he's doing it, but nonetheless frozen thawed. Totally harmless for everybody, safer, more responsible, better all around. That he is of course pumping it with as much venom as he possibly can. Now for him, he cannot produce as much venom as some other species. He does have decent sized venom glands, but nonetheless they are incredibly toxic. The death adder, not this one in specific, but their very close cousin that can be also found in Australia, the common death adder. Those guys are the 10th most toxic venomous snake on the planet. All top 10 species come from Australia. These guys, like I said, rough scaled, so different species, but nonetheless still incredibly toxic. Smaller venom yields, but what they make up for lack of venom yield, they make up in toxicity. Probably the second they do it, literally faster than you can blink, faster than you can snap, faster than the speed of light is a dramatization. Nonetheless, in 0.2 of a second, they will have their jaws and those two fangs right in that prey item, no matter what it is. Like I said, lizards, frogs, birds, rodents, you name it. And of course, the biggest identifying factor and what makes all snakes that are elapids like this death adder, is these very front fixed fangs right here. So you may be able to see the two fangs right there. They are pretty small, again, small snake, but nonetheless, they have front fixed fangs, meaning the fangs that sit in the top of their mouth, they do not move whatsoever. They are not hinged like a viper's, whether it be pit vipers or true vipers, but rather they sit there and do nothing. And they actually will fit in very small grooves on the bottom jaw. That is, of course, the biggest characteristic for all snakes to make them an elapid, whether it's coral snakes, sea snakes, mambas, taipans, death adders, brown snakes, kraits, you name it. That is what makes them a elapid at the end of the day, is those front fixed fangs. So although they do look very viper-like, and they can be a little bit twitchy and behave more like vipers, and of course predate like vipers, they are still elapids. There is no vipers on the Australian continent.
Today we are at Discovery Cove. I've come here to take a little break. I don't normally take too many days off from work, but my parents are in town, so we came to Discovery Cove, and I love the landscape here. This is the entrance of it, and it's just loaded with color. There's all types of beautiful crotons here, and chaffleras, and they got the variegated white and green and all the reds, and there's some cordylines in here, and it's a really exotic landscape. They have tiki torches, covered bridges, exotic landscapes, and giant traveler's trees. A really cool thing at Discovery Cove, you can go swimming with all these stingrays, or you can pay a little bit more and go swimming with the sharks.
Well, he's small enough he can get away with it.
I like it.
We will see you next week, and don't forget to like and subscribe.